So I want to take a look at everything that has happened in Genesis from the WCQs. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more Oshana. You thought Modern Era Yu-Gi-Oh! Was bad. Genesis looked as bad by comparison when you were looking at this. NA's breakdown was atrocious on this top cut, man. You had 1 Tellarknight to 7 Blitzclick. Like, who wants to play this format? Like, I honestly ask you. But I still want to talk about it because it's interesting. But when you get below this, you get to see things like Voiceless Voice, Super Quant, Hero, Hecka Hands. There were a couple of actually kind of cool lists in here. And, you also had some big names actually still kind of competing in here. Hunter Lloyd being one of them as well. So, you do get to see a lot of this meta still kind of converting. It's just, unfortunately, Blitzclick was by far one of the bigger percentiles of the challengers here. Kind of, bringing it on home. Now, winning the event was actually Henko, really, really hammering it down with this list. I think one of my favorite texts down here is the triple the Eye of Truth. Forcing the opponent to reveal their hand really can stink away some free games that your opponent might be having. Now, I don't think Konami's going to point the Eye of Truth, but there's too many, hand-revealing knowledge effects. Now, I will say, if you don't think that, Blitzclick is going to get heavier points, I have bad news for you. This particular engine was very, very devastating. Watching this actually resolve, I do expect that these will be much heavier pointed in the near future. Also, it's not like you can't bridge 7 Tachyon into this package just to be able to generate, way more advantage. It's very unrealistic right now, but I think we're finally at a point we're going to see this finally getting checked out here. Now, I do see we have our Constellar list here, Xavier, really trying out some interesting ideas. I do see that we have the water package in here, right? The water package gets you some free advantage, which is kind of nice. But you also do get to see, if a Blitzclick player is looking to set up their entire field, then, you can just kind of evenly them for their life savings, and you kind of just win the game on the spot for a resolution of this card. So even if it's 7 points, I do feel like this is a good 7 points for you to afford. There's also this Angelechy Blitzclick list, which I think is kind of cool. They were playing Disturbance in here, which, you have to remember you can't play E4 in this format. So if you're going to play the Angelechy stuff, you're going to have to do it with Problem, and you're going to have to do it with just Disturbances. But the entirety of this package is basically free. They're not putting restrictions on this because of the way that the format is in terms of its pricing. So that's kind of something interesting to think about. That we did have an Angelechy list. No E4 because there's no extra monster zone in this format, though. We also have the Regenesis list. This caught my attention in terms of like voiceless voice interactions. Obviously, the big guys in Regenesis still do cost a little bit because they're entirely large bodies that can tilt the game. That's exactly how they are. But also, you're looking for other anchor points to get in. That's why you do typically see the big Royal Archfiend typically being discussed in a lot of these variations. We also see the Thunderbolt coming together here. And then, of course, down here in the extract, you have Herald of the Abyss. We get to see Utopic Future, or the Utopic Trap card. What you're patching up in this format to try to make things work out is not a bad decision whatsoever. And then we also had the Super Quant list from Andrew. I feel like Super Quant is one of those fun decks that no matter how it's going to go, this deck typically finds its way into these top cuts pretty consistently. It's all because Great Magnet Herd down here literally is a very, very ugly floodgate. You get this thing set up, it's unaffected, your opponent can't add cards in their deck to their hand, but you have to remember your deck has to combo very, very hard in order to get to that big boss monster. But there are kaijus in this format. There are ways to provide you an answer over a problematic boss monster such as that setting up. So it's not entirely unbeatable or even unwinnable. It's just this is what you have to deal with when you're going into this. But North America's breakdown for this weekend was not all that surprising. You know, the top end of the meta really pushed itself out and really showcased the problems in this format. Now, we shift over here to the European version of this. You're going to notice a couple things. Only 3 Blitzclick. You do get to see Ritual of Light and Darkness, sporting up some tricks. It's kind of cool. We got to see Dark Lords, Crystron, Doomsday, and Labyrinth. I'm sorry, those are a lot of names that you wouldn't really expect to see in this. But as you're looking at like your top cut here, breaking down into like top 16, you also have Predaplants in here. We had more of the Red Dragon, Archfiend Piles, Clown Crew, Magnet Warriors. There's a lot more diversity, I feel like, on the European side of this versus the NA side that was just kind of going Ninja Star, you know, we got to play Blitzclick and go. One of the coolest was the Sacred Beast Blitzclick pile. Now, I know this is a wholly big pile of, let's just toss in the best packages together into our deck and actually get some results. And you know what? These pile decks actually do get some major time to pull together. I do see we're playing the Fire Phantom in here on a 3300. I do see that we are doing the Card of the Soul. Card of the Soul being free in this format is kind of crazy. But I mean, if you get pinged for any sort of small amount of life points, it kind of just falls apart. So like even the luxury of having access to this card is a little bit rough and kind of can be really bad. But you know, in the sense of this format, I think this is fine. We also have the Shaddoll Fusions down here. Getting access to the big Shaddoll Dump 3 can matter all that much. Definitely interesting. We also got to see Dark Lords coming to town. I think that this list is pretty standardized, right? You've also got the Triple Power Patron Terminus. You know, you got your gate pieces down here. I see we are playing a Minerva in the extra deck. That's really cute. I guess there is a point to actually like stop by this card along like the combo lines and actually use it to our advantage if we need to. That actually doesn't seem too terrible. We've also got Kaijus doing their job down here. Okay. Also, the Apex Fusion is definitely a cute little tool for this deck. Our Labyrinth list. I'm actually surprised to see a Labyrinth list doing well, but it makes sense, right? I guess if you don't really have provided outs to the traps. All of the Labyrinth traps are very costly, though. These are 60 points dedicated to 4 cards. But luckily, you know, Trap Tricks are 3 points, Destructed Darumas are 1s. Your Dominus Sparks are 10s. You know, the math equation is free, so you know you just kind of get to rock this to tear through and terrorize boards. But I mean, this looks absolutely fine. And then we also had the Rose Dragon, or Predaplant pile. Honestly, this is one of the other coolest decks that actually showed its head out of the weekend. I know Predaplants were a fun deck that people had discussed, but this is kind of cool. We do get to see Zaylin down here. This is one of those lists that I think can actually use Zaylin to more of a potential. That's actually kind of cool. We are actually playing the Triple Polynosis too. That's so awesome. All right, so what happened over here in Oceania? So Oceania, oh my god, that's 5 Blitzclick, a Fairy Tale, a Sacred Beast, and a Crystron. And then some Constellar piles playing the Hero package. Okay, so our Hero Constellar Teller Knights. So I mean, Stratos is free in this format, but the Miracle, really? Stratos is free? Okay, so we can Miracle Ejector, so we can pull for this. But we're just using the Hero package, I guess, as, you know, extra 4 bodies to kind of stack on so we can kind of extend through. I don't see a problem with that. That makes sense to me. We also had Invoked Fairy Tale. The new Alistair only cost 4 points. That's crazy to think about. You get 1 Super Poly for 13 points, which is kind of nice. But I mean, like, accessing Aeon is only a few points too. Plus Elysium is free. Wow. And then of course we had the Sacred Beast. This is honestly, Martyrs are 2 points. The rest of the board breaker stuff is kind of free. Regenesis is 20 points. Yeah, why would you not maximize on playing this? Like this probably was one of the better calls. This ended up what? Top 8? Yeah, that's kind of nice. But looking at the State of Genesis format right now, you have a lot of cool things that you can kind of throw around and actually test. And that's actually incredibly good news. So what do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here in a day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.